Hello everyone, welcome to my second Source SDK Hammer tutorial. I'm gonna do this on the Counter-Strike Global Offensive SDK because that is the newest version, so the engine has the most lighting features and stuff like that. So, but it should basically work the same way on all other versions of Hammer. So, obviously, first launch up Hammer from the SDK program here that you're gonna launch through Steam. Download through Steam too if you got the game for it. Now, when you first open up, you're gonna have this empty window with nothing in it except this message box down here. So first of all, go up into the left top corner, click New and File. New file. Okay, so I'm gonna start out with going through all the icons over here and showing you how to use the most basic and most important ones. So up here in the top, we've got the selection tool. This is for selecting everything in your map, for changing stuff, moving around stuff too, making selections, stuff like that. Obviously, this is the magnify tool or zoom tool. No one uses it. You normally right and left click to zoom in and out, but as I said, no one uses it because you can just with any other tool use the scroll on your mouse if you have that to zoom in and out. If you've got a laptop, just don't do this shit, okay? Just get a normal mouse. So next up, we've got the camera tool. Also gonna show you how to use that in a better way, but basically this is for moving around in the 3D camera space here. Down here we've got the entity tool. This is for making entities that are more advanced than just normal walls and floor and stuff like that. Stuff like weapons and player spawns and yeah, whatever you can imagine. Basically, you can script stuff yourself as far as I know. I do not know how to do that though. Down here we've got the block tool. This is probably what you're going to use the most together with the selection tool. This is for making blocks or brushes. I'll explain that much more in a bit when I've gone through all the icons, but you're going to use this a lot. Here we've got the texture application tool, whatever you want to call it. This is for applying different textures and materials to your surfaces on the brushes. This is the apply current texture. This is going to apply a texture all around a block. I will show you that later too. Here we've got the apply decals. I do not use this a lot. This is for, you know, when you're in game and someone shoot you and there's going to be blood on the wall. That's a decal. This is for applying decals that will already be in the map before you launch. So instead I mostly use overlays because they will stay. They have different perks to them that decals do not have. For example, you can resize them instead of just having a specific size of a texture. Here we've got the clipping tool. This is for cutting out your brushes. I'll show that. You can drag and you'll make a line that you can cut with. And here's the vertex tool. If anyone has ever done 3D work in Maya or 3ds Max or Blender and stuff like that, you will probably know how to use this. You select the corner and you can move it around in the 3D space on the grid. So as I said, let's start out with the block tool. To use this, you select it, and on either your top view or your front view or your side view, you just drag on the grid and you're gonna get this box. This is gonna be a block in game. Now, you haven't actually created it yet just because you've dragged a square. First you need to press enter and then you've created it. Okay, so it becomes red and yellow in the 3D space. As you can see here, you can't actually see it. So the first thing you want to do is click up here where it says camera in the 3D window and then go down to 3D textured. Now, I told you earlier about the camera tool. This is for if you select it and hold down your left mouse button in the 3D view, you can look around. Right now we cannot see this block because we're inside it. So using your camera tool, you look around and you use WASD to fly around as if you were in game. Now this looks kind of stupid because I want this to be the basic ground in my level, in my map, but I do not want it to say pills here all over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the texture application tool. So just click that when you've created this box, click that, and you're going to have this window pop up. This is where you select, apply and change textures on surfaces. Right now I'm not going to go through all these options that we've got here. I'm just going to show you how to change the texture of your block. So go down here where it says browse, click that, and you will get this texture browsing window where you can find all the textures you want that are already in the game. You can also make your own. I will show you that in another tutorial how to do it. So for the ground I want some kind of concrete. So I'm going to go down here into the filler and type in concrete. That's going to come up with a lot of concrete. One of them I made myself. But we're just going to use this one, concrete baggage concrete. So double click that and you're going to have this bucket here. Now go to the surface that you want to apply the texture to. You don't need to left click it or anything like that. Just hover your mouse over it and then right click and it will apply the texture to it. Now this is a good time to show you another way to use the camera tool. Normally I would have to click it first and then look around like this, but instead while I'm still in this tool, I just hover my mouse over this window, hold down spacebar, and then that's if I use the camera tool I can fly around and hold left mouse button down and stuff like that. And as soon as you let go of spacebar, you're back to the tool you were at before, so I can start applying to the other surfaces. Now on these sides, this is going to be my ground and I'm going to have walls around it. So on the sides, the player is not going to see those sides. So for optimization and for the game to be faster and stuff like that when I'm playing this level, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a texture called a no draw. So search for that and you will have this yellow no draw. Select that and apply it to all the sides and the bottom. What this texture does is that it is invisible in the game. So the game will not display this, and as such it will run faster. So you're just going to have this flat ground here in game. Now another quick tip is to when you create a new block, now I'm going to start making the walls. Make sure you have the no draw texture selected over here, because the texture you have selected here is what the block you make is going to be. So when I have the no draw texture here and I make a new wall, I'm just going to drag here, drag on the grid like that, and you see it is inside the ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the front view or side view, doesn't really matter, move it up and drag on this side to make it higher. Maybe not that high, maybe like something more like, yeah, 128 is actually fine. Okay, so just make it 128 because that's about player height. So he's just about going to see over the wall. Then press enter again and you have this basic wall with the no draw texture. So now I'm going to apply textures to the side that the player is going to see. So the player is going to be in here on the ground. So obviously I want textures on this side and this side. So again, open the texture application tool, browse, and I'm just going to type in a wall. It's going to come up with a lot of wall textures. So I want this texture, double click that, apply it to the wall, but as you can see it isn't fitting right. This ground thing that's going to be down on the ground, it's in the middle of the wall and we do not want that. So what you're going to do is you're going to left click the surface, and where it says justify, this is for moving the texture on the surface. So left is for, L is for left, so it's already fixed to the left. Right is for right. Fit, you do not want to use that right now. I'll show you where you're going to use that later on. And T is top, B is bottom, which is the same here because the texture is fixed inside and it's on the grid, and C is center. So I'm just going to move this to the top or bottom, doesn't really matter. close that down, and we've got a perfectly fitting wall. Okay, now I also want the texture up here. I want this concrete texture that we've got right here, but I don't want to find it again in the texture browsing tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in there and just left click this ground, and it's going to copy over the texture and its properties. Then right click up here and you've got the texture on the top. And it's really as basic as that. Now I want to make walls all around. But I do not want to build them one by one using the block tool. So what I can do is use the selection tool and go to the top view. I can hold down shift and then drag over the wall. That's going to copy it. But as you can see, it's turning the wrong way. I want this wall texture to be on the other side. So to fix that, we're going to rotate it. There's two ways you can do this. If you want to rotate it by any random degree angle, you can go to the top view or whatever view you want to rotate it in. Click it again so that these circles appear on the corners and just drag those. It's going to rotate it. Control Z is undo. But since I want it to rotate exactly 180 degrees, I'm going to use Control M once the wall is selected and rotate. And this is on the Z axis, so rotate it 180 degrees. Now it's rotated. Okay, so let's move it in the top view. So we have the wall on the other side. Again, copy this, and we are going to rotate it on Z 90 degrees. Move it down here, and whoops, that's the wrong way. Move it up here, that's what I meant. And as you can see, it is too long. So what we're going to do is we're just simply going to grab this side and drag it so that it fits with the other walls. Again, copy this over, rotate it 180 degrees, and there we go. We've got walls all around. The next step is to create a sky, because right now if the player stands down here, he's going to look right into the void, which is not a good thing. It's kind of hard to explain, but you will see if you try to compile a level and the player can look into the void. It will look kind of weird. It'll look fucked up. So we'll want a sky on top of this level. For that, we're going to make a skybox. So again, go select the node raw texture, go to the block tool, and now if I just drag here, it's going to be on top of the wall, fill the whole wall out. So what I'll do is I'll make the grid smaller. Rule number 1 in Hammer is to always, and I repeat always, stay on the grid. Never go off the grid. That's a really bad idea. So I'm going to make it half as big. Okay, I'm going to drag it up, make it fill all the way over. Right, just like that. Now I'm going to copy this and do like that. Okay, so that I'm gonna have like a box of node raw walls all around. Make sure it fits exactly with the other walls. We do not want them to clip. Now you can still look into the void because there's no roof on top of it, so I'm gonna make that too, again by dragging a box and doing its size properly so that it fits on top of this. There we go. A lot of people is going to tell you to make a skybox by simply making a huge box all around your level and then make it hollow in here. But that's a bad idea, because then the game will have to calculate where you can walk, and it's going to calculate all around. What I've done here is make it calculate as little as possible by only making it calculate inside the actual level and not outside. So now we're going to apply the actual sky to this box, and for that you'll need a skybox texture. So type in skybox, and what you see here is the actual skybox textures, but you're not going to use these because these are, as you can read, this is the Tibet back texture and the Tibet front, Tibet left, Tibet right. So instead we're going to go all the way down to the bottom. Come on, bottom, come on, yeah. Bottom, Fuck's sake. What the hell? Okay, I think it kind of froze. I don't know what just happened. Anyway, select the skybox texture and apply it to all the surfaces here, so that you have this blue skybox texture all around. Okay. Now this is gonna simulate a sky once we're in game, so it's gonna look like there's a big sky around it, so that it looks like we're outside. Also, you want to save your level very often. So to do that, just press Ctrl and S. And nothing happened. I think it froze. Fuck. That's not good. Please do not freeze. Oh, it did not freeze. Okay. Gonna save it over the tutorial because I already tried to record this, but it kind of failed. So let's save it there. Yes. Override. Okay. So every time you want to save your level, you can just press Ctrl and S, and it's gonna override your previous save. Okay. Now we have a basic level built up, but there's no way for the players to spawn right now. So what we're gonna do is use the entity tool. So select that and go over here to the right, where you are gonna see categories and objects. Under objects, you're gonna type in info player underscore, and either you can select counter-terrorist or terrorist. I'm going to select counter-terrorist because the terrorist model has a bug that makes it an error in Hammer. So just select the counter-terrorist, and in the 3D view you can just click. I think it froze. Come on. Well, oh, there we go. You can just click in the 3D view and it's going to create a lot of player spawn points. Okay, so we've got the player will randomly, or the game will randomly select one of these spawn points for the player to spawn on when you start the level. So we've got a basic level, but if we compile it now and play it, there's not going to be any light. There's going to be no sunlight. It's going to be completely dark. So before we move on, we want to select the skybox texture, what skybox we actually want. So save your level, and under map, go to map properties, and under skybox texture name, you're going to type in the name of your skybox, and you'll be completely blank, like what is my skybox called? How do I select it? Well, Valve has made a handy wiki called Skylist, or a wiki page called Skylist. I'm going to link it in the description. Gonna go to that. My internet is kind of slow right now, and it's kind of annoying. Okay, I think my internet is cut. That is not a good time for it to cut out. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pause it here and wait for the internet to come back, and I'll continue recording. Okay, so I got my internet back, and I'm on the Skylist page. If you're on Firefox, you can just press Ctrl F and type in global offensive, and then enter, and it's going to go down there to the global offensive part. If not, you can also just click here. I just figured that out. Okay, so we've got the names of all of the skyboxes, and in a second a preview image of it will pop up inside here. If we'll just wait a second. Well, we cannot wait for that, but you will see it in your browser. So I know for sure that I want this jungle skybox. So I'm going to copy that name, jungle, Control C, go back into Hammer, and under skybox texture name, I'm going to paste in jungle and apply. Okay, so now we've selected a skybox. So the skybox is going to look like in the jungle skybox, which is used in DSTech. Now, as I said before, we'll need some sunlight. To do this, we will make another entity called light underscore environment. Okay, right here. So just put that anywhere in the level and double click it to open up. Now we've got all these properties that you will probably not know what to do with. This is the sun angle, pitch or roll. This is the pitch. Don't know what the fuck. This is the color of the sunlight and the brightness. And this is the ambient color of the sunlight. Okay, so to get these properties, we're going to go into the Skylist again. and we're gonna go up to jungle. Okay. This is the jungle skybox. We're gonna copy these over these numbers. This is the angle, the pitch or roll angle. Copy that, put it in here, apply, copy the next number, which is the pitch, in here, apply, and we've got the color and brightness, apply, and the ambient color, which is probably going to be a bit blue or greenish, is my guess. Yep, bluish. Okay. And ideal directional angle. I have no idea what the hell that is. Okay, whatever. So apply that, close the properties for that, and your level is, or your map is pretty much ready to go. So what we're gonna do now is save it and press F9 to compile it. Normally for a test I would run with fast and fast on these two settings, still with HDF, because that is needed in Counter-Strike Global Offensive for the dynamic sun shadows, as far as I know. And don't run the game after compiling and wait for key presses. You will make sure to check this, because that Global Offensive does not like launching from Hammer. So just check that if you're running the Global Offensive version. Counter-Strike Source, you don't need to. I'm just gonna compile with normal settings, because this level isn't overly complicated. It's not gonna take a long while. So press OK, and it's gonna start compiling it. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, so when it's done, it's not done yet. Now it's done. It's gonna copy the level to your actual maps folder. Counter-Strike Global Offensive Maps tutorial.bsp. BSP is a map file. Okay, so close that. Close that. I said okay. So now I'm gonna go in game, and I'll see you there. Okay, here we are in game, and you want to open up the console. If you do not know how to do this, just contact me. Basically, you just set -console in the game properties. So what we're gonna do to launch the map is type in map space and the name of the map. Whoops. Name of the map, which in this case is tutorial. Press enter, and it's gonna load up the map. Alright. In a second, this is an awkward silent moment. Any second now. Come on, you slow ass game. It's probably because I'm recording. It's gonna load slow as fuck. Okay, so I only made counter-terrorist spawns. I'm gonna spawn as that. And here we've got the level with the skybox that I selected, and the sun shadow falling probably from the sun angle, and all that crap. Okay, so yep, beautifully done. Thank you for watching, and I will make another tutorial very soon on doors, lights, and a few other things, probably maybe water. So I'll see you there.